Hello everyone. Let's get started with our Bhagwad Gita session. We were on 13th verse, but however, I'd like to take a few minutes to go over the previous two verses so that we get a better perspective and understanding. 11th verse, once more. Sri Bhagavan Ashocyananvashocastvam prajñāpādāṃsca bhāshase gatasu nagatasumsca nānushochanti panditāh. Fundamentally, Krishna is trying to say that there are two things that you must be aware of, Arjuna. This fundamental body of ours, you have been thinking that it is just one single entity. But that is not the case. You have multiple levels of existence, multiple layers inside you. And the most important out of those layers are body and Atman. And the Atman is inside, that is the living thing, the true living thing that never dies. Whereas this body, it's not a living thing. It's just like a lifeless rock or lifeless object that you see around this world. And so, great learned people who are experts in this field will never worry about living and the non-living thing. They know, because they know that what is living and what is not living. Life full and lifeless. They know the difference between that, Arjuna. So don't worry about it, is what Krishna was trying to say to Arjuna. Now what we need to understand from this is we have been thinking that all along our existence is just this body, right? We go around this world doing all our work, experience everything that world has to offer and indulge in the pleasures. And at times we get hurt. Pains are inevitable if we are going after pleasures, because it is a double-edged sword, package deal. Once you get pleasures, we should be ready for pain also. And that is how we have been living, experiencing pain and pleasures with this body. And we started to assume that whenever I say I, that means this body. But that is not true. That is an most critical divine entity, the most auspicious peace inside every one of us. That is what we all should understand from this shloka of Krishna, right? And that should be preserved, that should be praised, that should be recognized by oneself. Whatever inside me, that Atman, I should realize it, I should recognize it, I should praise it, I should preserve it and live with that. And every one of us should do it, right? Inside, the Atman is there inside every one of us. But instead, most of us give importance to this body. Now that is what Krishna is drawing our attention away from the body and focusing it on the divine element. I have put that divine element inside every one of these living things, creatures, humans, animals, worms, Arjuna. So none of them will ever die. That is the next shloka that he is saying, that natve vaham jatunasam natvam neme janatipa na chaiva na bhavishyamah sarve vayamatah param. It is not that we all were not there in the past. It is not that we will not be there after a few years from now, because we always exist, Arjuna. That's what Krishna is trying to say. It's not that there was a time in the past, let's say 100 years ago or 200 years ago, that you were not there, or all these men who are standing here were not there. There is nothing like that. They all were there. You were also there. Just like I will always be there, I was always there. No one can deny the fact that God was not there 100,000 years ago, right? Because everyone knows that God always remained in the past, He will remain in the future. And that is why He's taking His example. Just like I am always there, we all, you all are also there. Your Atman was always there. All right, that's what he's trying to say here. In with two negatives, there was not. So he has put a negative. There was not a time in the past where you were not there. So the not becomes positive, right? So that means that you were always there, and there was not a time in the future. Let's say 100,000 years from now, or 200,000 years from now, billions of years from now, there cannot be a state where you won't be there. You are always present in this universe, just like I am always present. So that is, we all should be happy about that, because God is giving us an equal status like Himself. Right? We all also live with Him forever. Now Arjuna didn't understand one thing, just like all of us right now, right? But we are hearing that people die, people are born, animal dead, right? What is that then? Right? That is the question that we will think about, and Arjuna is trying to ask. So now Krishna is trying to explain to him. If you look at the diagram that I have put, for those of you who are watching on your mobile phone, I'm sorry, probably you might want to switch over to a laptop or a bigger screen, because that is a better graphic that I have brought in here, so that we all can understand and appreciate this much better, right? So what Krishna is trying to say here is, your Atman, the pink colored ball, right? That is the Atman that lives forever. There is no death to it. Timeline that is being shown in years, right? That guest goes on, and the Atman goes on and on since the time started, and it will go on forever. Whereas birth, then Arjuna asked, what is birth means, right? So that is the next shloka that Krishna is going to explain here in the next shloka. But here he says that once the body, any body, comes in contact with that Atman, that is what becomes a birth. And when that Atman separates from that body, that becomes death. But that's just a body that is falling down and building up again. That is just, we named it as birth and death. But your true identity again is not with the body. Your true identity is with that Atman. That is where your true intelligence, that is where your true happiness, everything resides. Whatever that we are experiencing is being experienced by that Atman. Right? That is what he's trying to say. And now let's move on to the next shloka to see how slowly he builds. Look at this here in the first diagram. He just says that there are two things, gatasu, agatasu. Gatasu is one that is dying, lifeless. Agatasu, full of life. There are two things, just understand that. And experts don't despair over these two things, because they are just clear about both of these things. Gatasu nagatasumscha nanushochanti panditaha. Pandita, the experts, the learned, never gets they are not delusional. That's what he means. Now in this next shloka, he said that the association of birth and death is because of a body that is getting attached to that soul. That is what you call it as birth and death. And here he just demonstrates. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara तथा देहांतर प्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. Krishna a little bit explains to Arjuna how that birth and death happens. Now when your Atman is just traveling infinitely, Atman is us, right? We just travel infinitely. As soon as based on the actions that we do, you get a different body. And that body can be body of a fish, body of a pig, body of a human, body of a crocodile, or body of a bird, or body of an elephant, tiger, lion, whatever that may be. Once that body is obtained, your Atman goes into that, the pink colored bubble that's shown here. And then assume that we took a human form. It first develops, the body develops, but the Atma inside stays as it is. There is no growth to the Atman. There is no decay to the Atman. It's only the body that grows. First it develops, it is born as a child, and then it slowly develops its body and grows into childhood, and the body still grows into a youth, and the body grows into an adult, and the body again goes into old age. Still that Atma is traveling with you. If you look at it in this, right on this earth, we are experiencing that. And then what happens? Arjuna asks, what happens after? And after, when the body is done, the body is now transforming. When we are young, we are energetic, enthusiastic, we are able to do things. Slowly the body decays. The body loses its strength, but not the Atman inside. The Atman always is shining bright like a star. It never decays, but the body slowly decays. And we think that because we have been associating ourselves with this body, we start to think that, oh, I'm getting weak, I'm going to die. Because we associate ourselves with this body, we tend to think that way. And when we are dead, we think that everything is dead. Krishna refutes that statement here, saying that if you are just dead, only the body is done its duty. The Atman is still awake. The death, if you see at the death, the box, I have just put it into two separate circles to indicate that body separated out of the Atman. And the body disintegrates, decays, or it is just buried, right? And body is burnt into ashes or buried on earth based on the customs and traditions practiced by people. But the Atman is never burnt, never buried, because it is formless, it is imperishable. It cannot be destroyed, so it stands out clearly and waits for the next body. In the next body, next birth. Next birth can be a human, or it need not be a human. It can be a fish, it can be a worm, it can be anything, insect, or right, or you can be born as a royal prince, right, or you can be born to Prince Harry, right. If we are accumulated so much of punyas, then we can become a prince also, prince or princess, and so on it goes. It carries it travels. So now if you look at many great people who had observed and used to remark that life, we are just travelers in this world, right. Many people used to say that we are just travelers in this world. Now you can see that clearly we are traveling with this body. The true person who is sitting inside is that Atman, that is us. We are using this body as our vehicle to travel in this world, right. And then we hop on. Once this body is done, that Atma hops on to the next vehicle and it goes on with the travel. The travel never stops. The travel never stops, but our transportation is different. We want to go to a country, right? You from home we drive Uber, we take a car, we travel all the way up to the airport. But that body or that car itself is not enough to reach our final destination. Let's say we are just planning to go to Paris. My Uber driver cannot take me all the way up to Paris, but however, he is very important because he had to carry me from my home all the way up to the airport. From airport, I'll be picked up and I will take a different transportation to get to the Paris International Airport. And from there again, aircraft cannot drop me in my final stay in the place where I have booked reserved my hotel, right? Hotel room. So now I need to take another Uber so that I can go by that. So that is how the transportation can be different, but the travel goes on and on. That is what precisely he means here. And then now let's go on to see what he talks about the next verse. How Krishna is slowly building, making us understand, if you can appreciate it, right? First, initially introduced Atman and body, and now he said how that Atman and body are traveling together, but still they are distinct. This is different and this is different. Now he's going to explain why they are different, how they are different, and how to distinguish so that we all can appreciate that, oh, we don't even know that there were two things that are existing within us, right? Now, before we look at the next verse, I'd like to give some introduction so that we have a better appreciation of the points or the verse that's going to come. If you look at our life, we have a lot of experience from this world, right? What is life? Just ask that question. What is our life? When I say that I have lived, let us say, 46 years, 47 years, or 50 years, whatever your age may be. What does it mean? Just ask, stop, pause your mind for a moment and ask yourself this question. Everyone have lived their life. Just stop and then look back. What are they? What is life so far? You will get the answer that the multiple experience that we had since we are young, right? From our childhood, since the days that we remember, we have had many experience with people, with this world. We had interactions and we accumulate such experience. That is what we say as our life, right? Anyone says that he had a great life, what does that mean? He had wonderful experience, right? Now let's ask another question. What does an experience mean? An experience is, let's say I go and attend a birthday party, right? I'm in that birthday party and I will remember it for my life forever, right? That's one thing that got stuck in my mind. Let's say, for example, what is that? What happened in that birthday party? And I say that, oh, that is a wonderful experience that I had, and I will always remember that, right? What does that mean, and what happened within us which made us to remark it as a wonderful experience and made us remember it for a long time? If you pay close attention to it, what are we doing in that birthday party anyway? Birthday party or amusement park or some vacationing, right? These are all experiences if you look at it, right? Anything, if you look at it, our body is present there and we are just alive, and most importantly, we are taking in inputs from the world, isn't it? Whatever that is happening, we are listening. That goes into our mind. Whatever that we are seeing, that goes in through our eyes. We're just absorbing things if you look at it, right? And the few people who we really love, we really like and so affectionate, let's say grandpa or grandma or uncles or whoever that be, friends also, right? They just hug us and we remember that touch, right? So what is happening is we are getting inputs from this world through our sensory organs, right? Through our eyes, through our ears, through our body, right? And the smell, the air, I can smell the air. That people used to say, wow, I just landed in this country, I can already smell the air, right? That is we are just absorbing it. And what about food? Oh, I was there, my mom prepared delicious food, I can and the same kind of food that I had last time when I was vacationing in Hawaii. That's why I could not. So what are we doing? That the food is the one of the organs that we are in, one of the items that our organ is enjoying, right? Those are the memory that gets imprinted. So all the experience that we define in our life, if you look at it, are through our five sense organs, isn't it? Sense organs give some kind of a perception to us about life. And then we say that, wow, this is quite amazing. It's wonderful, right? Absolutely interesting. And then all those sense organs create a pleasantness in our mind. And our mind says that this is a beautiful experience. Acknowledge it. Then automatically mind stores that experience in memory. Long-term memory just established. Anytime we wanted, mind will go and then bring that experience back, so that I remember everything, the food that I had, and right, isn't it? Just think about it. Other than that, we won't be able to say anything else. We will talk whenever somebody asks you, 2 years back you were having a good vacationing in Europe, how was it? What will be your response? Just think about it. Whatever that you saw, we will say, oh, we went and saw this waterfalls. That was so whatever eyes remembered. And then there was a musical party that we attended. Such a wonderful music. We heard such a music, right? So if you look at it, our experience that we define, our life that we define is so narrow, if you ask me, because they all our life experience is nothing but the ones that are recorded by our eyes and ears, which is good, it is not bad in any way, but that is limited, and we are happy with that. That is what is not good. We are happy that, oh, my body enjoyed everything, my eyes enjoyed everything, ears enjoyed everything, mouth enjoys everything, I am quite happy, there is no other experience beyond this. We already assumed. Any experience, can you say, that is beyond this five can enjoy? No. Nobody will ever say that very few people. I went to the top of the Alps mountain and I was sitting there meditating for three wonderful days. It was such an experience. How many of us will say? Right? Not many. Many people will talk about food. Many people will talk about movies. Many people will talk about music. They are all job for eyes and ears and mouth, but none for mind and Atma. And how much of how much of experience that we are looking forward to for our Atman, truly. Just ask ourselves. We don't even know that most of the times that there is something called that Atman sitting inside us. Only when we know that, oh, we'll have to look for that guy also, that girl or guy also, right? That is the reason that you hear most of the times that the person who is sitting inside us is longing to hear from us, right? Hear from this. For example, the person who is sitting inside me is waiting for me. When are you going to give me my experience? That is why we always, not always or not all of us, that is why there is this dissatisfaction, because any experience that we get, that is given to these limited entities, because eyes and ears have their own limitations, we know that, right? After 50 years, 60, 55, 60 years, slowly they could start decaying. They don't function as well as they used to. That clearly shows that it's a defective and not that great an organ, right? And we are having experience with these defective organs and thinking that we had the best life ever, right? And we and the reason main reason is we are not aware of any better experience above that, nor are we interested to seek. Is there anything beyond whatever that I enjoy? Sometimes I used to think, like, in life, whoever, whenever they get frustrated with life, what is happening? Everything is routine job. That is a good feeling. We must have that. Everything, every day, there is no difference at all. We keep on doing the same thing. There is no escape out of it. Whoever asks that question, they are on the right path to spirituality. Because many people are happy with the way their life is going on. I'm not saying that we should become unhappy. I'm saying that being aware of, these are all happiness, okay, fine. Is there any better happiness? May or may not be there, may or may not be able to experience it, but at least such a question should be asked, isn't it? We all assumed that this is the best experience, right? So now that is what here he says, that your body is transforming itself into multiple stages, but not your Atman. Now, the experience that we have acquired, right, it is through the 5 organs that we have been equipped with. We are given this 5 sense organs, and we are just let in this world. Go ahead and enjoy. Now, if you look at it, these 5 sense organs are like our electric plug. In this world, there are many objects, right? For example, there is this fruit that your mouth can enjoy, right? There is this yummy gulab jamun, badsha, doodh peda, you name it, right? They are all wonderful, delicious. Everything is created in this world. And then this movies, IMAX, 4D, 4K, 8K, clarity, super clarity, right? Such things are created in this world if you look at it. And then beautiful music to match your mood. If you are in a dull mood, you have music for that. You have happy mood, high beat music, right? Everything is created in this world, if available in this world, not created, I won't say created, but already available, that will feed our sense organs. Our sense organs are ready, they are equipped to receive it, right? And accordingly, based on that, this world is created. If you look at it, this world is created with objects, just like this plug point, where I wanted few things. I wanted electricity. Let's say you have this mixer grinder. We all have at home mixer grinder, right? If that mixer grinder, just like this mixer grinder, my mouth is ready, looking out for some food. And in this world, and I have this electrical plug point where I can draw electricity. If there is a food, I'll just grab it. This world is also created with that port that you see on the left side, that provide you food, just like that port provides electricity, that provide you the right food so that your mouth can enjoy. So when the mouth gets in contact with the food, taste is formed. Taste is an experience, right? So when my tongue meets the object, taste is formed. And I start saying that, wow, what a wonderful experience I have. Same way, when my eyes meet the right picture that entertains me, then I get a good experience. And in this world, such things are available if you look at it. It is pre planned, pre created, and it is intentional. Just that is what in this shloka Krishna is about to say. Matra sparshas tu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhadaha agama apayino nityaha stanti dikshasva bharata. Earlier in the last shloka, he told about body, right? Krishna said about body and Atma. Now he says a little bit deeper about the body, where he says that Arjuna, this body is equipped with 5 organs that can experience this world. And this world is created from 5 elements of nature. These 5 elements in the world has a perfect match with your 5 abilities built in this body. When they all join together, you get the perfect experience in this world. However, remember Arjuna, that these experiences are not permanent. They will come, they will go. They will never stay forever. That is why your happiness will also sukha dukkada. He is saying that agama apayino. Agama means will come and apayino will go. Come and go. Anityaha. Agama apayino nityaha. Anityaha. Anityaha is nitya means always. Anityaha is not always, right? Impermanent, temporary. Stan tidikshasva bharata. He says that since they are transient, Arjuna, try to tolerate them. Do not say that it's so hot when it is hot, because we all say that so hot, right? So I can't even bear it. It is hard, right? What is there to just exacerbate? We just express ourselves too much. And when it is too cold, we will say that, oh, it is so cold, it's so cold. I increased the temperature, but still it is cold. I'm not able to bear it. Everyone knows it, right? What is there in just speaking about it or just thinking about it, right? Yeah, it is. Everyone knows it because they are all in the room. They are all experiencing it, but we will not stop, right? It's so cold, so hot, so cold, so hot. That is what he is saying, that Sitoshna Sukha Dukkadaha. Sita, Ushna, cold and hot are part of the system. So don't get overworked up with your mind. That is how it is created. When your 5 sense organs come in contact with the 5 elements of nature, this world, this objects, the food, the whatever that has been created in this world, then you get this hot and cold and happiness and misery. Sukha dukkada. Sukha, happiness. Dukkha is misery, right? So hot or cold or sukham or dukkham, this duality will always exist in this world because that has been created that in that way. So do not get overworked up, is what he is trying to say here, right? The experiences that we have through this body is quite natural for this body. And important point to note here is this body will experience it, but it is not going to be last long. Anityaha. And they will never, as long as you are living, Arjuna, in this world, they are not going to go away. They will visit you every once in a while. Every once in a while, they will bother you. There is nothing like you cannot point anyone and say that they are living the perfect life for the last 60 years, 70 years. Though we might, think that they had the wonderful life, perfect life, we will give them certificate. We don't even know what kind of hell they go through every day in life, or what they will go through in future, or what they had went through in the past. But we will simply give them certificate because based on our reference, we are not that happy, but they are having the perfect life. No one is can escape this system that has been created, where happiness and misery will come and go and come and go. That is how it is created. He made it very clear. Now the next point, one more point he says, Yam hi na vyathayantye purusham purusharshabha samadhukka sukham dhiram somrtatvaya kalpate. Krishna says here that whoever, Arjuna, whoever in this world is na vyathayante. Vyathayante is to feel depressed, desolate. Na vyathayante is not to feel depressed, not to feel dejected, but instead looks at the dukkha and sukha as a balance, in a balanced way, then he is already ready for liberation. Now we talked about this body and the soul in the previous sloka, and he said that the soul or Atma got lodged into this body, right? Is there any way that I can see it? Now Arjuna, Krishna is answering that question. You will be able to realize it only when you are able to accept the fact that this body will have all experience from this world, and it will give you good happiness and bad miseries, and those experiences are inescapable. But if you can see both of them equally, a person who is graduating up and able to see them both as equals, he is not too much hyped up whenever good happens. Oh yes, that is what I have been waiting for. I got this. Whenever something happens, we will say that yes, I planned for it, I worked for it, I'm intelligent, I'm smart, I made it happen. That worked. We as one single thing, we did it. And when something bad happens, we are dejected down. So that up and down is the problem. If whoever is able to look at positive, whenever positive things happen, with a balance, and a negative thing happens with a balance, neither go too down nor to go too up, then that person is eligible for liberation. This is what he is saying. So amritatvaya kalpate, amritatvaya is the liberation. It becomes eligible, right? So we wanted to see that, right, to a level where at least liberation can be far away, but at least we should at least try to see that experience in our life, how to practice it, because it's all not going to be that easy. Theory is one, putting it into practice is entirely a different ball game. I can talk easily, and then you all can easily understand also, but I will have to put this into practice, you will have to put this into practice for really appreciating this sloka, right? Otherwise it is all like, oh yeah, I know about it, and then when something happens we will jump up, when something down happens we will go down, right? Then that is, knowledge is there, but there is action is not there, practice is not there, so there is a disconnect. There is no use in such a knowledge when that is not put into practice, right? So that is why just knowing is one thing, practicing is other. Okay, so now let's move on to the next sloka, chapter 2, verse 16. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhau ubhayorapi drishtonta stvanayostadvadarshibhi. So, in order to understand this, I wanted you to just take a moment and know about some theory. Theory meaning some kind of concepts. Just look at this world, this universe. Look around you, in your room, wherever you are sitting. Look in, little bit, imagine what is there around you and around your house, in the city, in this state, in the country, and around this earth, and in the universe, solar system, universe. Just zoom out your view so that you are able to see whatever that is there, right? Whatever that strikes your mind. If you look at it in the shloka, as per the shloka, as per Krishna's words, three things is what you can see. He says that the whole world is comprised of three things. One is Ishvaraha, which is I myself, Krishna himself, right? Krishna is Ishvaraha, the creator. Lord Vishnu is a creator, we call it. And then there are two more things he creates. Because he's a creator, he has to create something, right? That's why he's called a creator. Two more things he creates. What are the two things that he creates? First thing is Asat. Asat is all the worldly objects that you can ever think of. The solar system, you can think of the planets, the earth itself, right? And then the objects inside the earth, right? Everything that is lifeless, that you see around. Everything that we see around, the clock, the cars, the bungalows, the laptops, the phones, the food, the tree, everything, that the rocks, mountains, oceans, right? Other than the living things. For example, tree itself is living, right? Tree, plants, animals, humans, worms, put them all in one bucket. And then these lifeless objects like rocks or other lifeless, things, minerals, gold, jewelry, cars, all things are lifeless, right? Because that is why I'm just grouping it. I'm not saying that they are useful or useless. They are all useful. I need a car to get to my work, right? I cannot say that they are useful. We are not talking about useful, useless here. We're talking about lifeful and lifeless. So one bucket you have put it. Now what Krishna says is all the unintelligent, lifeless objects are called asat. And the lifeful, human, like not human beings, all the Atman, those are, even this body is also Asat. Because this is lifeless, right? Once this Atman leaves this body, body is burnt, body is just destroyed. And so that is why that is also Asat. We should include this body also into that Asat. Only the Atman, all the Atman, they are the true entities, living entities that are directly attached to Ishvaraha. Sat is purely the Atmans. Rest of the things are all Asat, which is lifeless, and they don't have any intelligence or they don't experience anything. That is the most important thing. They don't have any experience of themselves, but the Atmans are the one that have experience. Now I'll give you a simple view. Now that we are up to this stage, if you are able to appreciate up to this point, I will give a simple view to you. Imagine this in your mind, then we will clearly understand, clearly able to appreciate our relationship with God and who God is, right? Many people are. Now you have all these Atmans on one side. They're all equal, right? That's what we are just seeing as per this shloka. All the Atmans, imagine them as stars. They're all stars. And all those stars are linked up to link, meaning there is a link like a Wi-Fi link or a wired link or whatever that you can imagine. All those stars, just imagine that all those stars are hooked up to the Ishvaraha. Ishvaraha is not, you can think of him as a Lord Vishnu with 2 hands, 4 hands also, and or it can be without any form as well, because that Atma doesn't have any form. Now we are talking about Atman, that is all one of that Atman, right? That Atman is not like tall or short or black or white, because tall, short, black, white, all about body, and that body is already Asat. We discarded that. We are talking about pure Atman that doesn't even have any form. That form, just think of it for a moment as a star, and that all those stars are linked up to a superstar. That is the relationship. And there is no, and in that state, if you look at it as a star, as an energy, right, with no hands, no legs, no nothing, where are the emotions? Just think about it. Where is the thing like, anger? Oh, that woman, she has, there is no anger there. There is no mind at all there, right? So that is the perfect state that all the yogis wanted to get to, where I just stop, get rid of, even mind is also asat. Drop it off. Thoughts are also asat. That is why in the meditation we are saying that cut down thoughts. Any thought is about what? Our experience, right? Our through our sense organs. That is why we are saying trim down and discard those thoughts. Thoughts are all about experience. They are all asat, related to asat. We will sit on a meditation and then dream about the car that is going to be delivered that I ordered last week, right? Then that is clearly asat. I am thinking about something that is totally unintelligent object, which is a car. In my inside my Atman, where I'm supposed to experience that Atman, which is more valuable, I'm thinking about the Asat, right? So that is what here in this shloka he says. What he says is that now that we have understood about what is Sat and Asat, the difference between the two, the qualities also I've just listed down. Asat, it's temporary. For example, this body, temporary, right? For 60 years, 70 years, or 80 years, if it is a human body. If it is a body of a mosquito, probably 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, right? Or not even that, maybe hours, right? So it's totally dependent on the body that we take, and temporary. So all asat that you see is, it's not permanent, it's impermanent. That is how you classify Sat and Asat. Whatever that is impermanent, put it into Asat. And now, one more quality of Asat is it will change. It will undergo changes. For example, body is growing, hair is growing, right? Hair is growing white. They're all Asat. And that unintelligent thing, right? So all of them automatically, naturally, we will discard. Eyes are changing, the vision is changing, ear ability is changing, tastes are changing. Earlier I never used to eat sweets. My mom is now happy that I wanted to eat sweets. She doesn't know that I am getting into diabetes, right? That's why I wanted to eat more sweets. Now that is how our body works. Our body undergoes changes after changes after changes. That is why we have to declare this, not discard. We cannot do anything with it. We have to live with this body. We need this body, of course. We'll have to be happy about this body. That is good. That is totally different. Doesn't mean that asat body is asat, so just discard it, hate it, do not do anything. Don't go up to that level and all. I'm not saying all those things. This is just the knowledge session. Knowledge session is like, you just appreciate what is the truth. Okay, body is intelligence, but do not decide anything based on that. Oh, okay, that means that he is saying that this should be avoided. We haven't even gotten to that level of discussion here. Even Krishna is saying we are understanding what is Sat, what is Asat, what is Ishvaraha, right? So the relationship between these three, and Ishvara has created this Atman, and Ishvara has created this Asat also, where he is choosing the body and attaching it, giving it and removing it, giving it and removing it, but they will always live. That is the truth. These all undergoes changes. Asat will undergo change. They will remain always the same. They will not grow, they will not shrink, they will not decay, they will not they will not be born. That when are these created? Is there anything like creation of this Atma? No, because they are always there. Since it is out of directly from Ishvaraha, Ishvara always owns this. In fact, Ishvaraha is directly attached to the stars, this Atman. There is nothing like a born. Because when you say that Atman is born, we will have to say that when does it die? Death also accompanies birth. That is why there is no birth or death for the Atman. But birth and death is all on the left side where you have Asat. Right? So now let's move on to the next verse where he says, Avinashitu tad viddhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinashamavyyasyasya na kaschit kartumarhasi. So now what he says is interesting here. Avinashi. So vinasham. We know what is vinasham, right? Vinashi, vinasham. Avinashi means avinashi. That means indestructible. One that cannot be destroyed. Avinashitu tad viddhi. Know it to be indestructible. He's saying that this is known to be indestructible. Yena sarvamidam tatam, and being indestructible, this Atman is pervading this entire body. It is just pervading this entire body. Where is he inside? Now Veda mantras says that Atman is, just take the rice, one rice, and then take the tip of the rice and then make it into 100 small pieces, and then you take one out of them and make it into 100 small pieces. 1/100th multiplied by 1/100th, that small is like an atom, right? That is typically an atom. That atomic nature is your Atman, and that is situated right below the heart. That is the declaration of Vedas, and that is here in this part where I am just searching, below our heart. Now that is the description. That Atman is indestructible, and that is pervading this entire body. Now we will ask, when it is so small and when it is situated right below the heart, how can it be pervading the entire body, right? What is giving this body then? How? That is a good example where I can give you. Imagine that you are walking into a room. You are opening the door of a room, an empty room, around 10 o'clock in the night. You open the door, you see a lamp that is placed in the middle of the room, a diya, right? A diya is placed in the middle of the room. There is no electrical lamps in that room, and you are just observing. What do you observe? What do you see there? You will see a lamp, and the jyoti of that lamp will be burning, and the light will engulf the entire room, right? It will occupy the entire room. You cannot say that the light is here or light is there. Light rays just spread and perpetuate the entire, occupy the entire space inside that room. The same way, the energy of this Atman is just spreading across the entire body, is what this shloka means. And in this shloka he says that it is Avinashi, that Atman that is called in, that is indestructible, is pervading this entire body. And Vinashamavyyasyasya, Avyaya, imperishable one, that Atman cannot be destroyed at all, cannot, there is no object or weapon or any such thing in this world that has the capability to destroy that Atman. Na kaschit kartum arhati, arhata. We used to say that word, right? Arhata is being, you are not even eligible, we say, right? You don't have an arhata. Arhata means eligible. So there is no object, na kaschit kartum, to do, to cause death to that Atman. Na kaschit, no one is there, arhati, who is eligible to cause destruction to that, right? Vinashamavya. So if you look at it, because that is formless, that is an energy that is sitting inside us. That is what, when Albert Einstein says it, then we all will say that, wonderful invention. That's what he precisely said. Energy cannot be destroyed nor be created. That is what we also say here. Atma can never be born nor can die. That energy will always transform itself. That's what Albert Einstein said, right? Now that is what we are also saying. Now we said even well before Krishna said that it takes form of one body to another body. It transforms itself, but never is destroyed. Never, nor was it created long time ago. Energy can never be created nor be destroyed, right? So that is what in this shloka we hear about from Krishna. And then antavanta ime deha nityasyokta sharirinah anashino anashino prameyasya tasmatyudyasva bharata. Antavanta ime deha, this body is liable to be destroyed. It should meet its end. It is bound to end. Antavanta. Anta. That's an end. It will reach its end. And in that body, Nityasyokta Sharirinaha, this Atma is inside that body. Anashino, that Atma is Anashino, Anashinaha. He cannot be destroyed again, right? Aprameyasya, immeasurable. The power of that energy is immeasurable. It's not that just the tip of it, one atom, it's just sitting. It has the potential. It has that potential, that Atman inside us, which is truly us, the I feeling, right? That is immeasurable, infinite in its potential, as much infinite and immeasurable as Ishvara itself, right? Thus, that is why, and Krishna in this shloka says that, but the body on the other hand, it is bound to be destroyed, Arjuna. Whereas the Atma inside you is the real living thing, but the body is bound to meet its end. And so now get up and go to war. Tasmad, that is why, and so he says that Yudhyasva Bharata, Yudhyasva, go and do this war. Bharata is addressing Arjuna as Bharata, right? So he's forcing Arjuna to go on this battle, because no matter, even if you try to destroy that Atma in front of all these people who are standing here, you won't be able to do it. Only you can create the death of the bodies. That is his intention. With that, we come to the end of this session. I will see you all in next week's session. मङ्गलाशासनरैर्मदाचार्यपुरोगमैः सर्वैश्च पूर्वैराचार्यैः सत्कृतायास्तु मङ्गलम्. सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु.